Joining me now with reaction is former National Security Advisor to Vice President Cheney, John Hanna. John, President Trump was, I believe, rightfully critical of President Obama's 2011 pullout from Iraq, which a lot of people say led to the creation of ISIS and the spread of ISIS. Aren't we going to see the same thing now in Syria?
Yeah, hi, David. No, that's exactly right. And I think that's what we're seeing unfold right now is a strategic, humanitarian, and moral disaster for the United States that really looks like nothing so much as it looks like Obama 2.0.
Now, what could we have done? I mean, I'm getting signals from folks in the Pentagon, in the military itself, that Erdogan was making it pretty clear that whether the U.S. troops were there or not, he would go in to take action against the Kurds to create this buffer zone between Turkey and Syria. Is that what you're hearing?
Well, I mean, it's hard to know because Erdogan has been threatening to go in there and fight these Kurds who he believes, I think quite rightly, are an affiliate of a Turkish terrorist organization, the PKK. Right. But he's been threatening this for years, and he hasn't gone in precisely because we've had a United States force there working with the Kurds, trying to address not only our security concerns against ISIS, but to try and reassure the Turks that we will not allow this force, this Kurdish force in Syria, to threaten Turkey. And we've been successful at that up to this point.
Now, do you think that they will be deterred at all from the sanctions that were mentioned today? I don't think they've officially been put into place, but clearly they're going to be soon.
Yeah, no, my guess is no, David. This is a day late and a dollar short. These threats against Turkey, against the Turkish economy, should have been made by the president before Erdogan went in. To do it afterwards, when Erdogan and the Turkish military have clearly been unleashed here in a very big operation to destroy these Kurdish fighters on their border, I think it's going to be very, very difficult to have these sanctions make much of an impact at this point.
By the way, there's another thing that's not mentioned very often about Erdogan, the leader of Turkey and ISIS, which is that some people say that he actually, if not encouraged the development of ISIS, worked with ISIS after they took control in Iraq. His son helped ISIS sell some of the oil that they were in control of at the time in Iraq, and that they may have given sanctuary to Baghdadi, who was the founder of ISIS. What do you know about that?
Listen, we know for sure that ISIS was earning tens of millions of dollars worth of revenue selling oil, and one of the places that oil was going into Turkey. More importantly, we know that at the beginning of the ISIS rampage into Syria and Iraq, Turkish officials were essentially looking the other way over American objections while 40,000 foreign fighters and jihadists poured into Syria and into Iraq. And we know right today that the tip of the spear for Turkish forces going into Syria to crush the Kurds is, in fact, Arab militias filled with jihadists, former fighters from ISIS and al-Qaeda.
All right. Well, finally, and we have far too little time to explain this in detail, but the president says, look, these issues in the Middle East have been going on for decades, if not centuries, the fight between the Turks and the Kurds, et cetera. We could be in there forever if we don't get out sometime, and now's the time to do it, to which you would say what?
I've got sympathy for the president. He had made this a promise, but there's a right way to get out and there's a wrong way to get out. And to get out without any kind of planning or preparation or diplomacy, to do it in such an offhanded, off-the-cuff manner in a single phone conversation with a Turkish despot and dictator is definitely the wrong way to do it, without consultation and against the advice of all of his best military and diplomatic leaders.
Is there any way to turn this around quickly, John?
I think not, David. It's going to be very difficult. We can try and mitigate and limit the damage, but there's no avoiding that this is going to be an absolute mess that has handed a huge victory to all of our most dangerous adversaries in this theater, the Russians, the Iranians, ISIS and, of course, the Assad regime.
John Hanna, I wish we had better news to report on this. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, David.